Did you think, or do you think your sleep quality suffered because of the experiment, because of so much training and so
Yeah,
much eating? Yeah.
I think mostly the eating.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like I didn't get into it a ton, but like the my Aura ring was showing really bad sleep quality. I was starting to snore a lot more. My breathing was worse just because like my whole body was inflamed.
Mm.
Um, and like my joints were hurting, like everything was breaking by the end of it. I think partially because it was a really intense workout, but like if you lose an hour of sleep, like I'm already someone who sleeps 8 to 9 hours a night.
Mm.
That's just, I should say, I don't sleep 8 to 9 hours a night, but I find that when I sleep without an alarm, I typically sleep 8 to 9 hours a night.
Yeah.
That's usually when I feel most rested.
Yeah.
So any of those days where I was getting like 7 hours, it's still a lot of sleep, but like you'd feel an impact from it just because your body just was wanting to get to as much recovery as it could.
Mm.
Um, and even now, it's like I've realized more that when I eat later at night, like usually past 3 to 4 hours before I go to bed, if not more, then I'm sleeping a lot worse.
Mm.
I'm stirring more throughout the night. I'm waking up. I mean, even just waking up to go to the bathroom
Mm.
is like a big disturbance to your sleep, and you
Yeah.
won't get as deep of sleep. Um, so I was doing that, I was eating until I was literally going to bed.
Yeah.
So like your body was just never actually resting because it was still digesting throughout the night.
Yeah.
Um, so it made a big impact.
I found that especially if I eat fats close to bedtime or even like high fat dinner, I have a hard time falling asleep. But typically, like light carbs, like fruit, helps me fall asleep pretty a lot
Yeah,
better at least. And your
interesting.
your dinner in the Alex Hermosi diet was the only meal with fats, right?
It had, I think some of the other ones probably had a couple grams here and there, but yeah, it's the only one that had like an actual intentional serving of fat, which was
Mm,
sour cream.
yeah.
Um, so like it was maybe the heaviest meal to break down
Mm.
overall, which like I don't know why it was set up that way, but like yeah, just was.
Interesting. I sleep 8 to 9 hours ish as well without an alarm. Do you always sleep without an alarm?
No, no,
Uh,
I'll try to when I can if I don't have something to get to.
mm,
But like what ends up happening is my sleep schedule slowly starts moving later and later in the day.
mm,
And so as of right now, I usually use an alarm to make sure that like my sleeps to make sure I'm getting tired at the right time.
okay.
Which also doesn't always happen. So like I'm actually in a phase right now where I'm really trying to like wind back my clock because uh just working and caffeine and everything ends up keeping me up until like 2 or 3 a.m.
Wow.
And then I
Okay.
end up waking up at like 9 to 10 a.m.
Mm,
So like I'm trying to work that back to getting up at like 6 or 7 a.m.
mm.
So it's just a slow process there. But no, I use alarms for that.
A few years ago, I tried for the first time to always not wake up without an alarm. Not wake up, not wake up at all. No,
Yeah.
to not have an alarm to wake me up. And I think I went to bed at 10 ish at the time, which I've always pretty much done. And I would find myself waking up at 10 or 12 the next morning. So I would sleep like 12 or 14 hours every night at that time. And I was
Yeah.
like, nope, that's not going to work. And so,
Yeah.
but it wasn't until a few months ago that I tried again. And now it works so well for me. I sleep 8 to 9 hours, which seems to be amazing. And just not waking up with like an annoying alarm gives me so much more energy through the day to wake up naturally.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's something about getting like I feel like as I've gotten later and later into my 20s, like my body doesn't actually like sleeping until 2 p.m. like I did when I was in high school.
Mm,
It prefers to be up a little bit earlier overall. I'm still dealing with it. Also prefers to be up really late.
yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully that starts to wind back also. But yeah, waking up without an alarm and just kind of like finishing a sleep cycle is super important to just how groggy you feel in the
Yeah.
morning. Like a lot of these smart mattresses now, you'll see like 8 sleep. Uh, they actually like cool you down in the beginning
Mm,
in the mattress, and then they'll warm you back up to like naturally end your sleep cycle and wake you up that way. So like that's kind of I think the most natural type of alarm clock that I've seen at least.